Hello, good evening. I'm Oral Gibbes, and welcome to Oral Gibbes Live, coming to you live here from World Star Studios at Amsterdam Shopping Center. And after many, many years, I've been here for a long time, we have, for the first time in a long time, the first president of the Parliament of St. Martin, leader of the People's Progressive Party, this Arrindell. How are you doing, man?
Good evening, Oral. I'm doing great, and thank you for having me once again in your studio. It's a pleasure being here.
Thank you for accepting the invitation, and you're back for action, right?
I'm back for action, not for myself, because it's a lot of work again, but back in action to contest the upcoming elections of September the 26th with a PPA slate.
Now, there are a lot of things happening, and we'll come to that later on, but when I introduced you, I mentioned you was the first President of Parliament.
Correct.
That was October 10, 2010?
Correct.
And when you look back at that period and today, what do you think about it?
I think about the accomplishment still that we as country have made, the strides that we've made. Not enough, not clear, but we have made some strides after 10-10-10, especially in setting up the new institutions of Country St. Martin. We have to remember that St. Martin started out from scratch, and we had to take over a lot of the federal tasks and responsibilities from the former Netherlands Antilles. And it required so much work, so much energy to ensure that the people were not adversely affected by the decisions that we made, but to make that transition as smooth as possible. So from looking back, from my perspective, it was a lot of work. It was really putting in 18 hours a day work, because Parliament was one of those institutions of governance, the most important institution of government that had to be set up from scratch. And there was no room for waiting or for procrastination. I have been so aware of the responsibility that lay on my shoulders in those days that it gave me even more energy to ensure that once everything was done, once I have accomplished what I set out to do, that I would have no or little regrets.
So now you're here 2016, and you didn't contest the last election. I think you went along with our party?
Correct, yeah. 2010 was the August-September 2010 was the first election going into the new status, going into 10-10-10. The last time that PPA contested the elections under its own umbrella was in January 2010, and that was for the last federal elections. And PPA didn't do bad at all, but we did not reach that threshold to have one of the 3 seats that were available at the time. We really wanted to be part of the turning off of the lights, so to speak, to make sure that the transition from the former Netherlands Antilles to the country status would go as smooth as possible. And but regretfully, that didn't happen. And September 2010, when we were approached by some of the now up leaders, we, meaning the PPA board, we decided at a time, given the state where we were politically and constitutionally, to join forces in good faith and contest the elections under a umbrella.
All right, so you're not going to do that this time around?
No, this time around we are going to contest the elections solely with the PPA umbrella and with a slate of candidates for PPA.
You first came into office as the wonder girl. You got a huge amount of votes the first time around.
I'm not so sure if this is a wonder girl. I think we had a good message, As a party, our message was about good governance, transparency, accountability, making sure that we had a good, solid, balanced budget, making sure that the people had the opportunity to work and to be stakeholders in their future. We had a very exciting team at the time, supported and put together by the businessman and radio personality, Mr. Don Hughes. So it was not wonder, it was just simple hard work and a good plan.
What do you think happened over the years, because you've seen your numbers decrease at the polls?
My numbers decreased once we were part of the UP party. In 2007, after my numbers were very high, after that last federal election, I had over 12, I believe about 1,200 votes. In any case, over 1,000 votes for sure. And at that time, it was 2006. The discussions, the negotiations were still taking place regarding the agreement, to get out of the Netherlands Antilles. So we, meaning the PPA, were very clear in our positions regarding the agreement. We were out there informing the people. I was invited by the churches organization, by anyone giving information with regards to the new status, etc. But we were in opposition. We were in opposition, but we were very strong, one-faction opposition. Then came the November 2006 agreement. And my votes, I believe, dropped with about 500 because in our view, when we did the analysis, in our view, the parties that band together and said, well, the PPA doesn't want autonomous status, and the PPA leader, I'm going to say it because, sometimes it's still out there, and this is perhaps a good opportunity to set that record straight, that the PPA leader went shopping while others were doing the job. Nothing was further than the truth. It was a very bad attempt to do character assassination. Today, Oral, I'm here, the same person, with the same character, with the same love and passion for St. Martin, wanting to contribute and make sure that we are, once again, part of the decision-making process of this country, especially now, 6 years further.
This is the most difficult place on earth to get a vote.
Yeah.
And you go back to 1987, when the wonder boy, Dennis Pontefract, came on the scene. Mm-hmm. And then, as you were there speaking, I thought about him. And I saw how, and we all saw how he declined in votes also. Mm-hmm.
I don't even see him.
So, and so now he's probably watching the show right now.
Okay. Hi, Dennis. Yeah.
So that's why I asked the question, because I can think of both of you and seeing that on this island, there's a tendency to go the opposite way in terms of attracting votes, getting less after you arrive, mm-hmm. while the two main parties themselves right now are basically in trouble. You have the Democrat Party that is on basically life support.
Correct.
And you was part of that party at one time. 1999
was the first time that I ran, yeah.
So now, you're leading the party, you've been around for, have you done your homework?
Mm-hmm. Been around the block, as you say.
So you feel this time you can pull off what, over 1,000?
Absolutely, Oral. You see, some people may just disappear because they're disappointed. I don't disappear. I love this country. I have so much to contribute. And at this point in time in my life, I'm at a peak in terms of my experience, 27 years in office as a top civil servant, but also being in office in the legislative part. I was never a commissioner, never a minister, so never in the legislative, never in the executive part of branch of government, but nevertheless there, investing, working, communicating, working for my country. So my character was never one that would hide when you get blows, even though those blows are not fair. But you know, you're in this arena, and once you're in it, you have to be very, very strong. If you are convinced of your motives for wanting to be back in office to further and better the quality of life of your people.
So you think we're better off today than we were, say, in 2006?
No, there's so much more to be done. I would even dare to say, those of us who have time to go back and look at the newspapers of how the PPA conducted itself in the benches in the Island Council, a lot of the issues that we championed then are still here, still prevalent. We cautioned about safety, our educational system, housing, low-income housing, the infrastructure, the environment, our kids. So a lot of those issues, our status in terms of being prepared to take on the extra services that we assumed after 10-10-10. So we need persons with my background, persons like myself, who love this country and who does not let a little bit of disappointment keep them away. Where do you want me to go after this oral? This is my country. This is my island. I went to school to study, came back. No one forced me to come back. I came back because this is the place of my father, grandfather, you know, grandparents, great-grandparents, you know, the whole work, French Quarter, Dutch Quarter. And there's so much to do. With the experience that I've gained over the past 27 years, I am ready. I'm ready to lead this country. I know exactly what to do. We have a great plan, great PPA plan that we will share with the public of St. Martin next week. And I could tell you right now, Oral, it will be one of the, if not the best manifesto or plan for the people of St. Martin.
Let me ask this, because your sister is now a minister.
Correct.
In the current coalition. Is she going to run in this bid with you?
She's not going to run. That's what I understood. But I have to state that I'm very, very proud of her. She has done an excellent job in the short period that she has been part of this government, which is an interim government, as we know, since November last year. Very proud of her.
So did you tell her not to take the job when she asked you to?
Of course not. I mean, she is a very capable individual with a very strong background in business and tourism. And she worked as well within the governmental sector. So she is well-rounded, and she took the job heads on. And again, I'm very proud of what she has done in the past 9 months.
All right, so you said,
congratulations.
So now, next week, you're coming up with a manifesto.
Yes, sir.
And the PPA, right? If you had to take just 3 words to describe the party.
The party, our policy, our manifesto, strong, stable, secure. Those are the 3 words that we're going to go into the election. Over the past, actually 2 years, because I've been out completely for the past 2 years, so since 2014, I had a lot of time, even it went very fast, to speak to people again. I mean, I always spoke to people, really took note of what their fears and their anxieties are. And from all walks of life, or from the businessman to the school teacher to the mother with kids, anyone, even to the visitors, everything fell back to those 3 key words: stability, security, and strong, stable, and stability, security, and a strong St. Martin.
Yeah, I just want to add here for people watching this program that I have not rehearsed anything with you.
No, you have not.
Because
why would you?
The way the way you answered that question came across like, you know, like we rehearsed. I just asked you what.
Because I'm prepared.
Right, you know, and I don't want my audience to realize it was so smooth, incredible.
No, it's not incredible, Oral. And to your credit, you're a great host. You asked very difficult questions, and it is up to your guest, to answer. So, no, the PPA, again, we have been preparing this for a while. From the time we understood that the elections were pushed back to September, and we were able to get our foundation changed by the notary to a association in accordance with the new rule. We have been, and I have been working together with persons in the field to present a plan, a program for St. Martin based on those 3 keywords that I am absolutely sure that the people of St. Martin are going to judge us by, but also the other parties, because now I have experience in comparing, over the years, what manifestos are like and what they say. And ours is based on thorough research and facts, and we are going to go into these elections with confidence that the people of St. Martin will support the PPA and its slate.
Are you in favor of the new rules for new political parties?
That's a good question. Now, experiencing it again, it is difficult for new political parties to start up. I have to say that. It is costing a lot of money. In my view, it's becoming even more elitist. So, indeed, if a person, anyone, wants to start a party, they have to go through so many rules and regulations. And I think we should turn it back around to make it more democratic. The threshold should not be increased. It should stay at least at the same level as it was where John Doe around the corner, who has charisma, who has common sense, would say, you know what, I want to run for elections and I want to start my party. But I'm sorry to say that for John Doe right now. If you're not really determined to be part of this process, it acts as a deterrent.
I don't know. I see that in the future, we'll be left with basically just 2 or 3 main political parties, and that is not going to be good for the people.
I agree. I agree with you. There are different aspects of it, even, and not criticizing the institutions that take a lot of time to help the political parties get organized, but the opening hours, if you have, I think I remember as President of Parliament, I even mentioned that at the time, if you have elections in a particular year, then the offices, the institutions like the main voting bureau or the electoral council has to be more available to the people other than a couple of days a week and a couple of hours a week. Mind you, they work very hard, once they are there. But the threshold to adjust to their working hours for the parties who want to contest the elections or persons who want to contest the elections, it's difficult. It's difficult. So we do have to look at that in the future after these elections, how we could make it more accessible to the people and bring down some of the costs. For every little change, you need to go to the notary or go to the chamber and then pay again and then pay again. Not really conducive to making elections a people's initiative or people's participation.
No, we have a lot of unemployment among young people.
Yes, we do.
How your party view that?
I am so excited, not because of the high unemployment, but because of the possibility for the PPA, with the plan that we have, to put our inclusive, innovative economic plan into action. I challenge anyone listening to me right now, as soon as that manifesto is out, please give us your comment and let us know if you agree with what we have going forward is feasible or not. I could tell you right now, it is feasible because it is inclusive. It's going to make use of people and material right here on St. Martin. It is going to be based on policies and programs that have worked in other countries or areas that are kind of similar to that of St. Martin, where there's a high unemployment rate or where there's a very low use of the people on the island. proven policies and projects. I am so excited about that within 6 months of being in office and having the quick scan made, and we already know what a quick scan is going to be like. Within those 6 months, the people of St. Martin will be able to see that economic plan that is inclusive and value added, working with what we have here on island to eliminate, I would even say, and we have that in our manifesto, eliminate unemployment, not only among the youth, but have 100% full employment on St. Martin.
You know, on St. Martin, it's so strange because let's look at China for the time. In China, Disney World opened a theme park there.
Correct.
And 10,000 Chinese was hired. Mm-hmm. Almost all of the 10,000 are Chinese. Mm-hmm. The Chinese government owns some, 45% of the shares in that company, in Disney in China.
Exactly.
Then you have Macau.
The government owns it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Then you have Macau, where huge American corporations have built hotels, casinos.
Marriott, all of them.
But
correct.
guess what? They're not allowed to bring in many workers. You got to give work to people of Macau.
Correct.
St. Martin is the only place in the world that its governments over the years have given work to everyone else except to its own people. Now the Chinese are doing it, the Indians are doing it. We have a huge Chinese and Indian community on this island. It's what's wrong with us if we can't give our own people work, but other countries can.
Nothing wrong with us as a people. We lack leadership with vision and with backbone. China has 1 billion people. So, as you just mentioned, the government invested 45%. Government here, because of the budget constraints that we have after that agreement that we signed, government should be participative in also investing, in infrastructure. But our government is very limited in doing so. Our plan, again, oral, which will be backed by persons who have worked in this area. So you will have maybe you're not seeing it here now while I'm speaking, but you will have the experts that we will be working with because they have implemented these plans in these areas, for example, Colombia, or even in Bonaire, right in Bonaire, where it is a success story with a group of people that I, with the PPA, is going to bring in to work with. In fact, I would like to ask you now, the 20th of September, I believe that's Monday, I don't recall which day that is.
Monday.
A Monday, okay. I'm asking the people of St. Martin right now, every single one of you, from every single party, you are welcome to save that date and come to a seminar that we're going to hold, inviting the person who is referred today as the Steve Jobs of sustainable economy to St. Martin. A lot of his plans.
What it is again?
I don't want to reveal that. I don't want to reveal that. Let people go do their homework. We have contact with him. We have a commitment with this person, with his brilliant, proven ideas, programs, and projects in these so-called corridors of poverty, where he changed the lives of people who governments, as you just mentioned, either neglected or had no clue what to do with them. We know what to do. St. Martin is a very small island, as you know, multicultural. As you know, I think we have 140 nationalities on this island. So the group of people who are, for example, Antillean descent, now supported by those who are born here, because our Constitution says we need to treat everyone equally. Everyone, the young, the not so young, or the youthful, if I should call it that way, those who really want to work will have an opportunity to have a job here, well, not only just a job, but to make profit and have a great income to sustain his or her family. I'm so excited about it. I can't even wait to reveal that manifesto next week. And we are also very much looking forward to welcoming the Steve Jobs of sustainable economy here to St. Martin.
What surprised you most? Before 10-10-10, we were promised that St. Martin will see, it will be heaven on earth. We will have money to do everything because we were not part of the Nelson Tillys anymore. It was going to be great and super. It turned out just the opposite.
Correct. Again, lack of leadership, lack of commitment, lack of seeing through. Everyone loves St. Martin. I'm sure all of the leaders who've been there before love St. Martin just as much, or perhaps they might argue and say even more, but that's arguable. But you have been in that position to see through what we promised the people at the time. St. Martin was promised a clean financial slate. We never got that. From the, if my memory serves me right, from the 183 million guilders that St. Martin was supposed to get through the division of assets and liabilities, through the debt relief, I believe St. Martin received 56 million, which is nothing. Starting a new country, dealing with your police officers, dealing with the educational system, etc. It's setting up Parliament, setting up the Ombudsman Office, all of the other High Council of State, setting up the infrastructure. We did not have sufficient money to do that. And at the same time, we had to balance a budget. You can borrow up to a certain level. And it was very difficult to invest, meaning through government itself, into the infrastructure of this country. What we lacked after, in those past 6 years, was bringing in direct foreign investment. For example, like what we're going to do, bringing in people who doesn't charge you as consultants an arm and a leg to implement policies and programs that really work for your people. We were busy catching up to just set up the basic infrastructure that we needed as a country. So lots of promises were made, but we lacked seeing through with regards to those policies. We should have put a priority list forward and follow that priority list and then go back where we failed to implement what we said we would do for the people. So I could understand the disappointment 6 years now going into the new status. I could understand people saying, well, you know what, I'm not going to vote because they're all the same. I could understand that, but I won't accept it. That's why we're here. That's why we're presenting the PPA as an alternative party with the views and under my leadership to, not forcefully, but to effectively show the people that there is a future, a bright future for St. Martin if you do the right thing and if you use your time in office to execute those programs that you promised to the people.
Taking part in the September 26th parliamentary election.
Yes, sir.
And you're going to have
Very
a full
excited
slate?
about that. No, we will not have a full slate. We are focusing on having a slate of candidates that are able and willing to carry out the policies that I just spoke about.
All right, let's take some calls for you, all right? Oral Gibbs Live, you're on caller. Hello. You're on live, caller. Hello. You there, caller?
Hello.
You're on the air live.
Yes. I would like to ask Gracita Arrindell the following question. Yes. The question is this. Gracita, do you think that the salaries of the parliamentarians are too high and compare with that in Curacao?
If the salaries of the parliamentarians are too high,
what is your opinion on that?
yes, yeah. Well, the salary structure, I'm not so sure if it's higher than the parliamentarians in Curacao, where the cost of living is much lower than here. But I do know that the salary scale is based on of parliamentarians is based on the salary scale of civil servants. The highest salary scale of civil servant is scale 17. And the scale that the parliamentarians are, falls under is up to scale 17.
Okay, but I can never understand, so cost of living in Curacao is not similar to St. Martin.
That's correct. Housing is much cheaper water, cheaper, electricity. People are encouraged to have solar panels, or they have this device called Pagatino, where you pay what you use.
Right.
So renewable energy, yes, renewable energy is being worked on very hard in Curacao. Aruba is a prime example of taking measures for the 21st century for your people. And we are still struggling here with a company that gives us so much heartache and also pocket ache, because it costs you money when the electricity is cut off so many times. Businesses have to lose their refrigerators. You can't cut a key. But at the end of the month, you still have to pay that bill. You still need to go and pay your taxes. So that's a service institution that is plagued with blackouts and problems for so many years.
So call the name. Don't be afraid to call the name.
Well, yeah, GB, because that's the institution that was mentioned. And the PPA's policy regarding getting better and cheaper energy prices, but also water prices for St. Martin, is on the books. I am sure, after having spoken, or listened actually, 30 years of people speaking, political leaders speaking, about having the dump disappear, or having that waste to energy a project, and it's still not there. I understood it was burning again just recently. As the PPA party, we have that plan that would guarantee, if the people give us that opportunity, that would guarantee the disappearance of that dump, or turning it around into a project that would make the environment cleaner and give the people the energy that they need.
Look at the screen for a moment, please. That's Curacao.
Yes.
Right?
Correct.
They're using an iPhone flying into Curacao. And these huge turbines.
Yeah.
Are they owned by the government, those turbines?
The turbines in Curacao, I'm not so sure if they're owned by the government, but like in Aruba, there's a public-private partnership. And that is the philosophy of the PPA. We need to be more inclusive with the businesses here in St. Martin. We have a tendency, we meaning politicians have this tendency of thinking that because they have an idea, they want to take it and run with it on their own. But you don't live on this island by your own. You need to be inclusive and include the stakeholders in your decision-making process. The PPA always stood for that, even at the time when we were in the Island Council. If you look back at those tapes, PPA always fought and asked for the input of the stakeholders when it came to a project. So going forward now for 2016 to 2020, with our 2020 vision and this plan that we have, you will not be fighting with government because government has a project and they want to keep it close to their heart, close to their chest, so that people don't really know what you're going to do until it is done. That is not the type of government that you would have under a PPA-led government. Transparency and accountability. In fact, getting back to that dump, or any big project, when the people of St. Martin gives seats to the PPA, that we are able to sit at a table. So don't just put us in a position again with one seat, even though we will work hard, but really give us that opportunity to sit at a table and bring these projects that are good for the people of St. Martin. Parliament is an open entity, and it will not happen behind closed doors. It will be those negotiations in terms of bringing these projects to the people will take place openly in Parliament before they are decided upon by the Council of Ministers.
I'll take a call for you. Oral Gibbes live and call. Hello?
Good evening. Good evening, sir. Yeah. I have a question for Ms. Arrindell.
Good evening, sir.
Arrindell was our party for out of the first 4 years after 10-10-10. She won government for 3 years. Why didn't she, along with her leader from up, fix a lot of those ails that she's talking about? And secondly, I would like to ask Ms. Arrindell, why did she leave our party?
Yes, thank you, sir. The PPA was part of the legislative branch. I became President of Parliament, where we dealt with the laws, especially all of those laws that the former Netherlands Antilles Parliament parked at the door of the new Parliament of Country St. Martin. That was a huge responsibility to take care of. The executive branch, at the time with 10 consisted out of members, of ministers, and they had their roles to play. And yes, I did bring projects or concerns about with regards to what we should do with St. Martin going forward. Absolutely. But we know, and you know how it goes in politics, Oral. If you don't have that seat there at a table, meaning especially being in the Council of Ministers, it goes like that. So this is an opportunity now for the PPA to execute those plans that we want to execute. We did speak of several, I won't mention them now, but of several simple things that had to be done, that had to take place, that did not take place.
I know we have a call holding. I'm going to ask the caller to hold, but he also asked why you left.
Why he left. Well, the opportunity arrived with these new elections to take a stock of what transpired in those 4 years and take this opportunity to move forward under our own umbrella.
Okay. Oral Gibbes Live, your own caller. Hello?
Good evening.
Good evening. Generic medication.
Dr. Gracita Arrindell.
Good evening.
I want you to listen carefully to what I am saying.
Mm-hmm.
St. Martin is economically stronger than some of the Caribbean islands surrounding us. Now, in order to cut cost of living, why attack health and education? By this I mean we being stronger than many of the Caribbean islands, and they are not giving their people generic medicine. Why should we be giving our people generic medicine? And besides that, a visiting minister from Holland said it is doing so good that it should be increased. I'm sure you heard him on the news. Did you hear that? Hello?
Yes, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
A visiting minister from Holland said he see the generic medicine is doing very well in St. Martin. So it leaves room for it to be increased. Don't tell me you didn't hear that. Take it out online. No. Are you absolutely in favor of our people being sickened, the elderly and some of the young ones as also, our people as a whole, being sickened by generic medicine? When the other islands don't give their inhabitants generic medicine, and we are economically stronger.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to hear what you think about that.
Okay. All right. Yes. Well, Doc, I think you said it yourself. You gave the answer, which I agree with, that our people should not be given medicine, any medicine, generic or not, that is not good for the health of our elderly or our children. Our health system, and especially for the elderly, has to be more preventative. There are so many elderly who are suffering because of the lack of as you said, a good medicine for our elderly. Lack of in their homes, for example, those who are visited by the home care services. Our elderly are suffering. Some of them don't even have good or decent bed sheet or care. All of these issues I heard from people in the field. So under the PPA-led government, healthcare, especially for elderly, will take center stage. There are not many elderly persons on St. Martin, and I don't see any reason why this particular group, these people who have worked and who at this point in time that they are in the twilight of their lives, in the golden lives, should be suffering, should be going back and forth, should not get the care and the love and the time that they deserve in this society. A society is judged by the way how we deal with the weakest among us and how we deal with our elderly. And we are very much aware of that, going back and forth, and how the elderly are treated in this community.
Oral Gibbes Live, you're on caller. Hello?
Good night to you, sir. How are you doing?
Good night, sir. How are you? All right? Can you speak?
Fine, Mr. Weather.
Can you speak a little louder, sir? I can barely hear you.
Okay, wait. Let me see the
All right.
phone I have in here.
Right, you sound a lot better now.
Yeah, he does.
Let me check.
Yeah, it's better now. Go ahead, sir. You ready?
You hear me okay
Yes,
now?
perfect.
Yes,
Go
we
ahead, sir.
can.
Yeah. Good night, sir.
Something happened there with your phone again. And maybe you're holding your hand over the antenna.
Oh, should be. Let me see. It's a new phone. The one I had before.
You're doing better than me. You can afford a new phone.
Huh?
I say you're doing better than I. You can afford a new phone.
I want to,
He'll come back, go ahead.
he will come back.
Yeah.
I want to mention a part of St. Martin being economically stronger. We have to realize that we have a $1 billion economy. It is a statement that I mentioned from 2003. But the Minister of Finance, current Minister of Finance, again is one of those who mentioned that we have only 22.3% tax compliance. We have a lot of capital flights out of this country. Our tourism, which is 98% of our generating our income, and also is the branch that gives more employment. Our tourism marketing budget is only 5 million guilders. It is a pittance compared to the region, which Doc, he just brought that to my attention when that clicked, where it is almost 20 million guilders that islands are putting into marketing for the country. So that is something that we are definitely going to look at, Oral, to make sure that we don't have more of the same, but better quality tourists, not more of 2 or 3, 3 or 4 star hotel, but 1 or 2 good 5-star hotel, and ensure that with the economic plan that we are going to implement, which will generate more income that will stay on island, that is put into affordable housing and good health care for our citizens. You see, the plan that we have is all interconnected. It is not one piece here and one part there. It is all interconnected that will make sense at the end of the day.
Okay, caller, please call back. That we lost it there on the phone, and I really hope you can call back. Oral Gibbes Live, on caller. Hello? Yeah, caller?
Hello. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening to Gracita. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you. God is good.
I'm a young man, born and raised in St. Martin, and I always hear a lot of people complain that there's no jobs on the island, and I will say that's not practically true.
Correct.
There is jobs on the island, but the problem is there's no permanent jobs on the island. What would you and your party would be doing to change the policies, fix the laws, demand the owners of the businesses to have permanent work for the people on the island?
Thank you for that question. The youth is going to figure prominently in our program because you are the future. Even in our party, just to sidetrack quickly, I don't intend to sit there forever. I want to train the younger generation of a party to, 5, 10 years from now to take over. The PPA has a plan to ensure that the youth not only participate, but that you have a stable income, one, by eliminating that 6 months contract, because it is not fair. You don't have, not only you, but a lot of other persons don't have. It's not fair for your contract to be renewed 12 years, some people 20 years in a row. By creating jobs with the young people in mind, and through the young people, with a plan that we have, this question will not come back again. I could bet you now, Oral, 2-3 years down the line. Young people need to get that training. They need to get the ability by government working as a facilitator to help them to establish that business and help and support their family. It is not difficult. It's a small group. That 30% unemployment rate has to disappear. I'm not even saying it will go down to 15 or 10. It has to disappear, because it will disappear with a plan that we have.
Now, the thing is that a lot of young people are losing faith in the system. They hear so many promises, and then they don't see the action.
Yes, good night.
Yeah, good night. You're on live. Go ahead, sir.
No, we are not about promises. We will deliver.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, sir.
Hello?
Yeah, you're on air. Go ahead.
You hear me better now?
Yeah, I can hear you good.
The same person.
Okay then. But I want to say very good night to you.
Good night to you, too.
And I like to have the leader of the party there tonight. That's the thing. But there is only one thing I have been talking of for the longest while. I know that her party may not win all the seats to be in government. But at the same time, I wanted to speak about what I will do and what I'm going to do. You understand me?
Yes, definitely.
Yes. Okay then, Gracita. What happened is when you was in Holland a couple of years ago, 10, oh Lord, that's 6 years ago, you made some very good proposals. But those set of people who was down there, they couldn't see what you were speaking about. And today, we are seeing of some of those lapses that they made, and at this present time, you're coming back in to correct. I wanted to talk about, for the balance of the program, what I am going to do. I. Because we need that, because all the different people who contest in the elections, it's going to be a whole conglomerate of different parties. So what we want, all the individual voices. And you see the individual voice and what you are saying, that is very, very important.
Correct.
I could ask, or I may not be able to ask, because with my family and everything, we have 27 votes and we just have to divide it. So if we could hear something, what you call positive to a point, I, as the elder of the family, I could advise everybody, my sister-in-law and my brother-in-law and my niece and my children, because I have a whole set more.
You sound like a hedge fund manager now.
Well, he's hedge funding.
I've been on the program for so long time, and at the same time, I like how you're bringing the one or two people to present their situation to the public.
Thank you.
I would like you to do exactly what I am telling you, and come out fighting and ask the people to give you another chance.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, Gracita. The best for you.
Thank you. The best for our country.
All right.
Good night. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that big up, because it's not easy, Oral, coming back onto the political scene. But as I said earlier in the program, this is a country that I love, that I've worked very hard for and with, and there's no way, if it's up to the people, that I would sit on the sideline. It's a new opportunity. It's a second chance for all of us, for St. Martin, but also for the PPA, to enact those policies and programs that we always envisioned. And indeed, we would need much more than one seat to make sure that those programs that we have, that I know that young man who called will appreciate, because he will be able to work it and to live it going forward. To the big up in terms of what the PP is going to do, so it will not be we have a team. We have a team that is supported by a very, very good program that will take us to 2020 and beyond. St. Martin will be proud, St. Martin will be strong, St. Martin will be secure with what we will share with the people of St. Martin in the week upcoming.
You know, you have an uphill battle in that there are many political parties around, with 13 political parties.
We're not afraid. We have faith. We have faith, and as I said earlier, we have a great plan. We are committed. We will deliver on the projects that we are going to present to the people of St. Martin. We live in a democratic society. Those persons who, for one reason or the next, who are saying they're not going to vote, I want to direct myself directly to you. Please do not give up on St. Martin. This is a great country, and all of us go through disappointments. We are at the start, actually, of the second phase of St. Martin going into its new constitutional status, and we cannot give up on St. Martin this easily. I will not give up. We have a bright future ahead of us. Our best days are ahead of us, not behind us. And if you give us your trust, we will not disappoint you. We will not go anywhere like some persons do, rightfully so or not. This is one of the best islands in the Caribbean, and we will make sure that it remains the best island in the Caribbean, but with emphasis on inclusion, emphasis in working together with the business sector, emphasis in making sure that the youth, the future of St. Martin, has that opportunity to take this country forward. We can do it. You cannot do it by yourselves. We need your support to make sure that after September the 26th, going forward to 2020, that St. Martin is the greatest island in the Caribbean to raise a family and have happy children. We have a great plan for kids as well, so stay tuned.
So
Thank you.
You're saying that all the 13 parties, the PPA is going to be a different horse?
A different horse because we have a stable plan.
And you also feel that you can do it in 4 years?
Most of it, yes. Most of it we could do in 4 years, Oral, for the simple reason that when you drive over St. Martin and you look at all the different neighborhoods, there are things that could be done, should be done in the first day that you go into office.
Yeah.
So dealing with small issues that has a big impact, that is what we're going to do as well while we implement the innovative economic plan that we have envisioned. Again, I want to ask everyone to keep the date, save the date of September the 20th. It just happened to be so that is the day that the person could be on St. Martin. Yeah. Really, I was very happy when the person said yes. So keep the date of September the 20th. Every single person on St. Martin is invited. And then you be the judge.
September 20?
September the 20th.
That's a Tuesday.
Yes, yeah.
Tuesday. Okay.
That's a Tuesday.
No,
yeah.
I think we had said Monday earlier. Sorry.
No, yeah. The person's coming in on that day.
Okay.
So then the people of St. Martin, you be the judge when you line up all of my colleagues next to us.
20 seconds.
Who will be the best to lead St. Martin, to make it stable, strong, and secure again. We can do it, and we can do it with your help.
All right. Thank you for coming. We're
You're
out of
welcome.
time. All right?
Thank you.
And that's it for now. See you next time. Until then, good night. Take care. Bye.